We're building a rod right now. This is what it looks like so far. This is actually a BFS rod for my anniversary trip with my wife. It is our 1 year wedding anniversary on next Saturday, which if you're watching this video, I'm currently filming this on January 7th. Today is exactly 1 week. Wait, hold up. Is it 1 week? Yeah, January 7th. I think it's 1 week. Today's Sunday. Yeah, today's Sunday. Jeez. Today is Sunday, and the anniversary trip we're going on. We're going to Helen, Georgia. We're actually staying really close in town, like next to the river. And it's going to be... Sorry, my voice is cracking. I don't know why it's cracking. I just woke up like 2 hours ago. I don't know why. But we're going to be staying in like downtown Helen and going exploring the town and stuff. It's pretty. She grew up going there a lot, so... We're going to find out how cool it is, and just give you guys some background on the rod I've been building so far. This is the American Tackle Bushido Spinning Blank. It's a 5'3", rated 1 to 4 pound line. I'm actually going to be putting my Conquest BFS, which is over there. I'm not feeling like taking that off right now. But just to give you an idea of what I was shooting for with this build. So what we've got here is this is actually an ice rod fishing grip. I'm going to see if I can show you guys on camera. I'm going to talk you through it. Because I'm actually trying to see if I can post this video. But this is an ice rod fishing grip from V-Line. All of this is available at Mudhole, by the way, guys. This is the V-Line grip. It comes like this, $15.99, I think. Then this is a CRB G2 reel seat. I really like this reel seat because it feels very smooth and it fits the Calcutta Conquest BFS 23 very nicely, and I love it. But be careful when you do get these sleeves, because sometimes these sleeves don't come appropriate size for the reel seat. That's just part of the manufacturing process. They can't really fix that sort of thing. But what happened is the first time I ever used this setup, the reel seat wasn't shimmed enough on the inside so that I didn't have to worry about it essentially like fitting. This didn't fit. It was cracking because it was fitting. So I got that, and I have a little reel seat thing right here. If you notice, there's this, because there's a gap there originally, so I corrected by doing that. But you can see here I also have a little winding check going on there. But we're also going to put some of these guides on here. These are some guides that are recycled from my old Dobbins BFS I broke earlier this summer. But yeah, so far we got a tiger wrap drawing on there. I went with like a brown copper, kind of dark copper, to give it that deep chocolate like look, just because I wanted to make it very themed on the original wedding colors I made. So this is my wife's rod I originally made for her. It's like a little barber pole wrap. But yeah, so I made it based on those colors, but a little bit more different, a little bit more updated because, oh, my battery's about to die. I must replace the battery. Okay, sorry about that. Battery exhausted, you know. But essentially we had to replace the battery. But I believe what we were talking about. I think I was talking about what I was doing with the color scheme. Let's go back to it. But let's flip the camera around here. But I've got kind of a tiger wrap based on the old wedding colors. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Got a tiger wrap based on the old wedding colors right there. And essentially what we did is we epoxy the grip first. I've also been taking my time on this rod and reel setup just because it's just been a slow process. There's also glue on my rod here. Don't mind my desk, by the way, guys. I'm a scatterbrain little son of a gun, so I constantly am trying to just have everything on my desk all at once. So, but yeah, we're gonna be putting the old Dobbins Sierra. Let me fix this. I'm gonna be putting the old Dobbins Sierra Ultra Finesse guides on this. Because I really like those guides. There's one of the best guides that I've ever used on a rod like that. Is my autofocus on? I think it is. But let me make sure there we go. Make sure background defocus is on. But essentially, I really like the Dobbins guides, and I really wanted to make a rod that had those guides because they're super high quality. I have not been able to find the exact sizing for those guides, but I believe they're 3.5 ring size. So I got the closest I could for a tip top. But I'm thinking maybe 10 guides on this because this is a 5'3" rod. Typically my rule for like however many guides you should put on a rod, it goes like however many feet plus 1 is my rule, but that's not including the tip top. So like say for example, if I was building a 7-foot BFS rod, I would do 8 guides, then I would do tip top. So 8 plus 1. So technically speaking, that works sometimes. I wouldn't use that as the end all be all rule. Like you can't put any more than 10 guides or don't do that. But the best way to actually know how many guides you need is to take your rod and put it in like a corner or something and kind of weigh it down the butt end, and then take the tip. And if you've already put the tip top on, or if you've wrapped the guides on, I wouldn't even do that. I'd be careful with that. I would tape the tip on, or tape something to the tip, and then it's around 2 to 3 ounces. What I find is the best for static deflection. So what I do is I take some of these swim baits on my wall and I hang it off the tip, and then I see where does the line possibly touch the rod blank, because you don't want that to happen, because that's how you appropriately spread out the force into the rod through the guides. And that's what I really recommend being careful of whenever you're building rods. So my rule is however many feet it is plus 1 for how many guides you should put on it, but static deflect your rods and you'll have a much better consistency with your casting and your loads on your rods. So and another question I've also received before is, do I spiral wrap my rods? I have done it, I have tested it before. And personally speaking, when you're talking about spiral wrapping's for a lot heavier fish. So on a swim bait rod, it makes sense. On a slow pitch rod, it makes tons of sense. For BFS, I don't know if it really makes enough sense for me to want to consistently do it. Does it decrease casting distance? I would say definitely not, because on the spiral wrap rod I made on my swim bait rod, I cast it further. To be honest with you, I cast it much further, but I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference on lighter applications like BFS. So if you want to spiral wrap your BFS rod, go ahead. I think it'd be really cool. I don't think enough people have talked about it for sure. So if you want to spiral wrap your BFS rod, do it by all means. But personally speaking, I kind of like just the classic wrap, just because, I don't know, it's just something I do. So yeah. Also guys, we're probably going to put the American Tackle Bushido decal on here. I don't know if I'm going to write anything or anything like that. Also, guys, if you guys are rod builders and you want the best way to write on your rods, you need to check out, if you got a Michaels or anything near you, look for, I don't know if you can read this. This is the Sakura Jelly Roll pen. Sakura spelled Sakura, and it's Jelly Roll as in Gellroll. So if that, I forgot the Y, Gellroll. So if you want to really find a good pen for like writing on epoxy after you're curing it, take this, and what you do is you write on it. What I like to do is I like to take a little bit of a torch lighter to things. I don't use the classic cigarette lighter. I use a torch lighter, and that's what I use for really actually getting bubbles out too. I prefer it. It's just higher heat, faster. If you're smart, honestly, I would use a heat gun. That's probably the best option. But take that after you've written on the epoxy, flame it a little bit, and wait at least, I would say, 6 hours. I would say wait at least 6 hours before you put any new epoxy on it, because if you do, it's going to smear. And if you do put epoxy on it, make sure you're not like pushing down, because that's one thing I ran into when I first tried those pens is I would push down on the blank and it would smear all over the place. It sucked. I screwed up a couple of rods doing that. So I would recommend just being careful if you get the Sakura Jelly Roll pen. Just make sure you're paying attention to how much like you're actually letting it sit, letting it cure, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to update you guys when I've working on the guides or finishing the guides. And then the overall finished product I'll also update you guys on. So everything, if you want to check it out, is available at Mudhole. I'm using Pro Wrap thread. Most of this is actually color treated. The black that I'm using is not color treated, just because I really like the nylon look for guides. It looks like it blends into the blanks better. So we'll talk about it more when I tune you guys in for the guides. So see you then. Hey, okay. Guys, just give you an update on the rod. We've got some of the guides wrapped. I've got some glue on the rod I need to get off, but we will clear that up another time. It's like I guess whenever I was gluing on the grips, I touched the other like upper parts of the rod and it got everywhere. So yeah, but just to give you guys a look at how I've wrapped the guide so far. I kind of messed up on one, but that's okay. It's like just so slightly noticeable, not even noticeable. But the reason why this isn't as bad, I'll show you why. So guys, that's the first guide. That's my first guide. I actually took a guide spacing calculator on rodsense.org. If you guys are building your own rods, go check out rodsense.org. I don't know, I just found out about it today, so that's kind of cool. That's my first guide. That's my second guide. That's the one I kind of messed up on. If you guys can see on the side on the left, I put more thread than the right. It's not even. So why this may not matter right now is because this is nylon thread. So nylon thread is typically going to essentially look like the rod. It's gonna more blend into the color of the rod because you have to put color preserver to keep the color of nylon thread. It's not the same for something like this color treated thread down there. Now down there I've actually got a American Tackle decal on there, but the problem with that is that it's not really doing what I want it to. There's a lot of bubbles in it, and it was not, how do I say this? I accidentally hit the stop button, my bad. But the problem with American Tackle decals, it was like, if you guys noticed, I had all that paper over there. See this stuff? That's the back of the decal. It was tearing up and not actually coming off with the tape. So I don't know what to say there. It's just kind of what happened. But if it looks cool whenever I take the thread off, when I go to finish all this and put another coat of epoxy on that part, maybe I might take it off. Maybe I'd keep it on. I don't know. With bubbles, I really hate the way that bubbles look whenever I put it in the epoxy. I've made a couple of rods so far, and one of them has bubbles in the decal, and it was on one of my groomsmen rods I built for my wedding last year, and didn't really like it too much. So yeah. Besides that, guys, I'm going with more of a sleek stealth look with this part of the rod, because the guides aren't really what you're looking at on a fishing rod. You're looking at the grip down there, which the grip down there ended up looking fantastic. I really love the way it looks. So besides that, I will update you guys when the rod is finished. If you guys want to see the reel I'm putting on there, it's going to be this bad boy right here. So this is the Calcutta Conquest BFS 23. You guys have seen that content before, which, by the way, guys, they now make an Avail spool for it. They also make this spool right here. This is actually an Aldebaran spool, because you can use the Aldebaran spool, but the problem is you need a spacer on the the spool tension knob, and that's right here. That's the spool tension knob right there. You need a spacer. The reason why is because the shaft is like 0.5 millimeter too thin on the Calcutta Conquest BFS, or no, on the Aldebaran BFS spool going into the Calcutta Conquest BFS reel. So yeah. I'm actually taking 4 combos with me. I'm taking this new rod. I'm taking my old custom I built last year for this exact same trip. But we're not going to the same place. But I'm also getting a rod in from Amir over at Bait Finesse Empire. I'm getting the Major Craft Trout. And I'm pairing it with the iFish Band Tender Shoot that's over there right now. So it's like more of a budget-friendly trout setup. Honestly, I'm just going to be fishing. I'm going to have like a spinner on one, on a jerkbait on another, and another jerkbait on another, because that's kind of how I fish for trout personally. So we're going to have to see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to the trip, and I'm really excited. So maybe I might finish this video with a little bit of fishing with the rod, just to give you guys my first impressions of it. But I don't know when this rod is going to end up like getting exposed. But like I said, guys, wrap some of the guides. Besides that, I'll show you guys the finished product when we get done. All right, guys, I just wanted to update you guys before I showed you guys the end product. I just pulled off the, excuse me, the thread that was, the thread that was holding the decal down. So what I did is I wrapped thread around it to keep the decal down and try to get the bubbles out. And it actually did a pretty decent job. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put some epoxy over that and see how it looks after we finish it off. I'm interested to see how good it looks. And there's the grips, like I explained before. All this is available at Mudhole except the guides. These are actually based off of a, where's it at? This rod right here. It's based off this rod right here. This was the Dobbins Bait Finesse rod, and it broke, so it's trash now. But yeah, the guides got recycled. I put 11 guides, I think, on here, including the tip tops. So I'm going to put some epoxy on here, and I'll show you guys the final product. All right, folks, I said I would update everyone after the rod finished drying with the decal, and there's been a development in the building of this rod. So I'll update you guys really quick here. If I could turn my camera around. So if you guys notice here, it dried a little unevenly, or cured is the more accurate word, but I don't know if you can see it over top there, right here. A bit of the sticker was sticking up. So what I did is whenever you have that happen, you take like a clean razor blade. Clean makes a huge difference. This is about as clean as the one I had out. So it's a really big difference if you're using one that's like a piece of crap like this one over here. But if you notice, there's a little bit of part that I sliced out. But if you notice, I made it even. I tried to make it even because where the sticker was coming up, because this sticker was giving me a hard time putting it on. You notice how I cut it to where it's even. I also made this little sanding tool. This is 220 grit sandpaper. I wrapped it around this popsicle stick to essentially flatten out the ridges here, so that whenever I go to cure this again, because it is already uneven anyways, there's like a bit of lumpiness to it I don't like. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put another coat of epoxy on it to get it look better. But as I was really messing around with just tackle this morning, guys, I noticed, you know what, I think I'm gonna use this reel for a little bit heavier applications than this rod was meant for. The reel we're gonna use to actually pair with this rod is actually gonna be this bad boy right here. This is the Alphas ARTW with an AX22 spool. Like I said, guys, this is one of the best reels you can get right now. No matter what people say, it's super cheap right now and it's a great value piece. I have a Roro handles, I have a Gomexus drag star, and I have a Roro spool and Roro bearings. So if you're interested in checking it out, I have some links down below. I don't really care if you get them or not, but if you want the easiest place to find these, Amazon, Digitaka, Bait Finesse Empire has them sometimes, but these knobs are discontinued. The bearings are not discontinued. Get them at Bait Finesse Empire. Same thing with the spool. This spool also fits the Gekabidgen over here. The Gekabidgen over there is like a saltwater version of this bad boy with a little bit better components. But we are going to get to putting a new coat of epoxy on that rod, and I think maybe the next video you guys see of this will be me casting it around and testing it out. See you then.
Yeah. I'll throw a couple casts on the other side over there again.